Okay, so today I'm going to basically explain how marketing varies depending on the type of business that you run. Okay, not every business is the same, and not every sort of marketing style works for every business. For example, if you own an electrical business, you wouldn't use the same strategies as you would if you were offering something like an e-commerce product. Okay, so it really depends. You have to firstly understand which sort of business that you run, which type of customers you usually serve, and then you can decide on the strategy that you want to use. Okay, it doesn't make sense to use things like Google My Business for something like e-commerce. I'm not saying you can't use it. You can use it. Obviously, it helps to use different methods in the beginning as well because then you can understand where to place your energy when it comes to marketing. But something like Google My Business, it will not you will not see good results for something like SaaS or e-commerce. Okay, so it depends on your business first of all. Okay, so let me explain this. So for example, an example might be something like a local barber shop. Okay, a place that cuts your hair. Compare that to an e-commerce product, an e-commerce brand that sells hair products. They're going to be completely different customer bases, right? So people for the barber shop would be people in the local area, people that need haircuts in the local area. You're not going to advertise to people all the way across the world in I don't know America in New York, right? If I'm a local barbershop in Australia, I'm not going to advertise to someone that I'm not going to advertise my barbershop to someone that's in New York or Los Angeles or London. Okay, it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to advertise my barbershop to someone that's in Shanghai or Beijing, right? It doesn't make sense. But for e-commerce, it's a complete opposite. For e-commerce, you would do this. You would do that. You would advertise even if your e-commerce store is located in Australia, you would advertise it to New York or to London or wherever in the world, okay? Because your customer base is people that need hair products all across the world. It's not just in the local area. So this is why I say the type of digital marketing varies based on the type of business. So here's an example, right? Services for something like lead generation, if you watch my previous video, lead generation, it's about acquiring customers, right? So for something like a local barbershop, they would use things like Google My Business, SEO, and social media maybe, okay? They could use paid advertising. I'm not saying you can't use paid advertising. They could use it, but it wouldn't really make sense and it wouldn't be the best use of their money or their budget or their time and energy. It wouldn't make sense because they're not going to see very good results from it and they can only advertise to a small region. Now you compare this to something like the e-commerce brand that's selling hair products. They're not going to use Google My Business at all. They're going to focus more on paid advertising and social media because it makes more sense because their target audience is people all across the world that need hair products. So it makes a lot more sense to use these methods compared to these methods. Okay, so it depends, and it's not just for service and products. It's even for different services and different products. So even if you let's say you have um, a barbershop in Australia, and then you have a barbershop franchise in Australia, that's completely different. Even though they're both services, it's completely different. Same thing as if you have um, a small e-commerce brand that sells hair products versus if you have a multinational, e-commerce brand that sells hair products, it's going to be very different as well. There might be some similarities, but it's going to be very different as well. So you have to understand this. Okay. Now, something like if the goal is retention, then the e-commerce the e-commerce store wouldn't use gift cards because everything is online. All the transactions are on their website. So why would they use gift cards? They would use email promotions. Okay. Now, for the local barbershop, they wouldn't use email promotions because most people that go to local barbershops, they just go directly to the local barbershop. They've probably been going there for over 10 years. If they lived in the area for a long time, they're just going to wake up, get in the car, drive to the barbershop, and get a haircut, or walk to the barbershop, get a haircut. They're not gonna need email promotions. Obviously, I'm speaking in generalized terms. In most cases, they're not going to need it. Now, there might be some cases that you can try these things and they actually work, but I'm talking in most cases. And the reason I like to generalize is because exceptions don't make the rule. And for things like digital marketing, it makes a lot of sense to generalize. So because we're talking about a large group of people, a large group of a target market. So it makes sense to generalize. Okay. And why is this? Because like I explained, products they rely on gift cards. Oh, okay, yeah. So if we reverse it, right, would a barbershop rely on email promotions? I mean, that wouldn't really work. And if a e-commerce store relies on gift cards, that wouldn't really work, right? So it doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, that's done. Now, not only do you have to consider the method that you want to use, you also have to consider the channel. Okay, and by channels, I just mean platforms. There's a lot of different platforms. Obviously, as you know now, social media is growing, and there's so many different platforms that are coming out each day. But the main ones, obviously, everyone knows is YouTube, Google, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Of course, there's other ones, Pinterest, Slack, Discord. We're not going to go into that right now, but obviously those are also some that you can use. But we're just going to focus on these ones. Okay, so the main channels. Okay, now let's compare two different businesses. One is a local gym, and the other is CRM software. That's for gyms. CRM software is basically a software that gyms can use to manage their customer and clients. Basically, keep track of invoices, different tasks that they need to do. Okay, so that's what CRM is. Now, if you compare two of these different businesses, would they be using the same channels? Now they can both use Google. That's fine to do, but would a CRM software really be using Instagram to promote? Well, first of all, before we even discuss that, let's think about the actual customer base. So for local gyms, the customer base will be people in the local area that want to lose, that want to get healthy, that want to lose weight, gain muscle, stay in shape, whatever it is, right? That's the local gym. So it'll be the consumer market. Okay, it'll just be people that are living locally that want to exercise, play sports, whatever, right? Now, if you compare the market for CRM software for gyms, it's very specific. It's people that own gyms, it's business owners that own gyms that need to manage their customer relations, right? So it would make a lot more sense to actually use LinkedIn in this case. Now, once again, I'm not saying you can't use I'm not saying you can't use Instagram or Facebook or any other platforms. Like I said, I'm generalizing. I'm saying in most cases, it would make more sense to use LinkedIn instead of Instagram if you're focusing on this market, which is business owners that own gyms, right? Because why do I say that? Because it, they're not going to be using Instagram. It's simple as that. These people that own gyms, they're not going to be just they're more likely going to be using LinkedIn, right? It's just that simple. Okay, so that's the reason why. So how do you usually go about creating a strategy when it comes to any business, product, or service, whatever it is? How do you create a strategy? Well, first of all, the first thing you should always do is you have to identify the target audience. You know, if you don't do this, then you have no idea where they would be, how you're going to reach them. You, you have to identify the target audience. That's always the first step. Now, once you've identified the target audience, the next step is to identify what channels they would be on. Maybe Facebook, LinkedIn. Obviously, you don't want to try all the different channels at the same time because that would be a lot of energy spent, a lot of money spent. You can't really afford to do this in the beginning, so just pick one, maybe two, and just test it out. If you don't see that it's working, test a different channel, right? But basically, identify what channels they would be on, and then number three, that's where you create the strategy. Okay, so what does this actually look like? So let's use the local gym as an example. Okay, so the target audience would be people that want to lose weight. Now, there might be people that want to go to the gym that want to gain muscle, or there might be people that go to the gym that want to just stay active, or people that want to go there just to play basketball. Okay, but I'm just focusing on people that want to lose weight just for this example, just so that it's very easy to understand. So let's say the target audience is people that want to lose weight. Then from there, you identify what channels they would be on. They might be on Google, YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. Those are just some. And then you create a strategy. So for Google, if you really want to focus on people that want to lose weight, you can say uh, you can run a Google Ads campaign for local gym or gyms nearby, right? Now this might not necessarily target people that want to lose weight, but it might. I mean, for example, someone that is typing for gym nearby, they might be looking to gain muscle, but that's still the customer, right? So it makes sense, right? Now YouTube would be a completely different strategy. You wouldn't be running YouTube ads if you really want to focus on customer acquisition. So YouTube would be more focused on brand awareness. You might be posting tutorials on how they can lose weight. Maybe it might be something like 5 tips on how I can lose weight. Helpful advice. Once they see that, they build trust. You build more trust with them as a customer, and that might eventually push them towards joining your gym if they're in the local area. So that's two different objectives. First objective is customer acquisition, also known as lead generation, and second objective is brand awareness. Okay, so you've already identified two channels to use for both of these objectives. So yeah, like I said, awareness, you might choose these platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. That might just be more for fun videos. And then you can use YouTube for more educational videos, such as, like for example, what this person's doing is he's showing you advice on the proper technique when it comes to a certain exercise. Okay, and then for Google My Business, you might use that just to get more awareness in the local area. Okay, so that's for awareness, and for lead generation, you might just run ads, Google Ads. Once again, you can use Google My Business. You can also use SEO, which is basically the same thing as Google Ads, but it's just for it's like Google Ads, but it's more for blog content. Okay, I'll explain that in further videos. But Google Business, Google My Business, SEO, Google Ads, Instagram, Facebook ads, you can use those. Okay, and then for retention, you might use something like an SMS newsletter. So you might send this out to everyone who's already a customer who hasn't renewed their subscription. You might offer them a discount. Maybe you have like 50 people that are subscribed to the gym, that have a gym subscription, but they haven't gone to the gym in 2 months. Then you send them like a 10% off. Come, you haven't been visiting us for a long time. We'll give you 10% off. Come see us, and that might be something you use for retention. Okay. And yeah, that's basically it. So the purpose of this whole video is to explain that every business is different. You're not going to use the same strategy. You're not going to use the same channels, and you're not even going to have the same objectives for every business. Even if you have two local barbershops, one might just want to focus on lead generation, whereas another barbershop might focus on brand awareness, and you might have another that wants to focus on both. Every business is different. It's like, think of it like a person. Every person is different. Every person has different objectives, different goals, and you might have two guys that are both aged 25 years old. They might be both 25 years old living in Australia, but they're not going to have the same goals. Someone might focus on losing weight, some other guy might focus on getting a haircut. It's the same thing for business. The barbershop might be focused on actually building their brand up. They might be looking to produce more social content. They might be looking to do things like actually, even outside of marketing, just in terms of their own business, they might be looking at things like building their staff, improving their customer service, actually improving how their shop looks, even getting better equipment to better razors, better shaving cream. That type of thing. They might be more focused on that, whereas another barbershop might be focused on actually just acquiring customers. So every business has different strategies, and it's important to consider all these different channels, different strategies, and the different, and most important of all, the different objectives of every business. Okay, so that's it.